You know what time it is. News Roundup time. Today we are getting into the Black Panther trailer, the official trailer that just released yesterday, and also a little bit of an update on MCU's Armor Wars. But also we have Barry Keoghan, who played the Joker in The Batman, talk about his Joker role and actually how he wanted to try and play the role of the Riddler for the movie. And he dives a little bit into the future of the Joker, and I want to tie in what I think that could be with what we've had reported before. And the last story today that we're going to get into is heavily something that you shouldn't be like, oh my god, this is happening, oh my god. But we're going to get into the possibility in how the Flash movie could be going through, as reported, by a major trade, additional scenes right now. But also the catch is maybe bringing in the DC Trinity, Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot, and Henry Cavill, of whom have been suspiciously spotted in LA recently, all around the same time. A coincidence? Or not. So everyone, do consider subscribing if you're into news breakdowns like this on the latest movie news, TV show news, industry news, and all kinds of things. This is the place to be. We do breakdowns, reviews, and everything on this channel. And do consider liking this video. Honestly, hitting that thumbs up button helps me out a bunch. So thank you very kindly if you have gone ahead and done that. But today I want to start off with the Black Panther Wakanda Forever official trailer. I thought this trailer looked really decent. This one is most definitely focusing on the incoming war to Wakanda in the fallout of T'Challa's death, whereas that first teaser had this more feelsy, somber feel to it, and this one does as well, don't get me wrong, but it's very much so highlighting the incoming threat that Namor poses. Now we hear him say towards the beginning of the trailer that only the most broken people can be great leaders, as we see him in that familiar shot swim down, if you will, onto his throne. And we will obviously be seeing his backstory in this movie. He's not just going to appear and just slam down on Wakanda as we see in various shots. We do need to get a little bit of that context. And if you remember from that previous teaser, we did see his birth underwater and you saw his little winged little feet there, which we get a very good look at in this trailer in present day as we see him freaking jump from place to place as he's most likely getting to that shot of where he's about to bash in the throne room window. We also hear M'Baku say that his people do not call him general or king, they call him Kukulkan. Kukulkan. I'm probably butchering that. The Feather Serpent God, of which I believe we do see in the various shots of Namor in the trailer. We see him painting something on the wall. Now that is most likely the Feather Serpent God. And M'Baku continues to say, killing him will risk eternal war. Now, Namor is a mutant, and it looks like they will, especially with where the MCU is at right now, as we're branching more and more very slowly into the mutant days of the MCU. It looks like they will be adapting that from the comics, and also even Tenoch Huerta did speak to Empire, confirming that Namor is indeed a mutant in the MCU by saying you can take Atlantis from Greek myth or you can adapt from a real culture, argues Huerta. Rather than the ruler of Atlantis, on the screen he's the ruler of Keoghan, and he's drawn to the surface by the ramifications of T'Challa's decision in Black Panther's final reel to reveal the truth of Wakanda to the world. That decision puts Keoghan in jeopardy, Huerta explains, and Keoghan has to take action to protect themselves. One detail that is carrying over from the comics, according to Huerta, his Namor is indeed a mutant, which is awesome. Obviously, we've had some teasers of mutants already in the MCU, and that is just furthering in the future as we build into the X-Men side of things. As we go throughout the trailer, you can see that Namor's people from the Kingdom of Keoghan have to wear masks when they're on the surface and out of the water. This technically actually fits with regards to the filming because, it was filmed during the pandemic, but at the same time, you may notice that Namor doesn't have to wear a mask, and that is because in the comics he is half human, of which, you can probably bet he is half human in this adaptation as well. You may also notice that he doesn't share their bluish kind of skin color, similar to his mother in that birth underwater scene, implying that his mother is indeed human, which gives him that half human origin. In the opening shots of this trailer, we get some more looks at the funeral, or should I say celebration of T'Challa's life, and we see Shuri carrying T'Challa's Black Panther helmet. But as the trailer carries on, we have the war between Wakanda and what is in the comics Atlantis, but now Talokan, and I'm probably butchering the name Talokan. But Shuri says, as heard in the trailer, he's coming for the surface world. And there's many scenes in this trailer that show the destruction that we're going to witness, and it appears as though Wakanda gets struck with this wave. We see the throne room just get absolutely engulfed in water. Everyone is flowing down the streets in various shots, and as I mentioned earlier, we even see that Namor in the reflection of the window is about to strike the window of the throne room, likely allowing that wave to completely crash through. We can't forget as well that Black Panther Wakanda Forever is giving us Riri Williams, aka Ironheart, and she's getting her own Disney Plus series, so you can bet that she's going to get her foundations laid for that series in this movie. And in this trailer, we finally get to see her go full Ironheart mode, which is pretty awesome in these shots that you're seeing on screen. And of course, lastly, we need to talk about the full look we get at Black Panther here. I believe in the first teaser, we just got to see the freaking arm extend and the claws come out. But now, as we hear Queen Ramonda say, "Show them who you are," we see Shuri in the throne room as it's covered in water and flame. Now, this could be a bit of a trippy kind of experience as she's coming into the Black Panther mode, I guess you could say. But right after that, immediately we see the Black Panther, the new one, fall down into the camera shot, and I think that is, you know, Shuri. I mean, I know everyone is saying that, but there are technically multiple contenders. Lots of people are talking about how there's similar dots on this new Black Panther's mask to the dots that Shuri was wearing in T'Challa's funeral scene. The thing is, they're not identical at all, actually. An argument could be made that other characters, other Wakandans, could have similar face dots, paints, if you will, on their face. So this doesn't exactly match the face dots on the Black Panther mask, but you could argue it is Shuri just giving it a slightly similar or newish pattern. Another contender in this suit could be Nakia, of whom we see featured quite prominently in the promotional material of these trailers. So I would love to know who you think this is. Everyone is saying Shuri. It could be Shuri, and some people are even lending theories that you could get multiple people in the Black Panther role. That is definitely something that could be true, although I do think you're going to have one person mainly don the mantle of Black Panther, which is most likely gonna be Shuri. So what did you guys think of the Black Panther Wakanda Forever official trailer? It looks very feelsy. It looks like it's got a lot of heart in this movie, considering this struggle they had to film this movie with the tragedy of Chadwick Boseman and what they kind of have to navigate around with that and still provide, at least from the trailers. I mean, these trailers are meant to sell us the movie, of course. From what we can tell, a pretty decent movie that a lot of people are anticipating. I think it could be quite a good one. But let me know your favorite part. Let me know who you think is going to take the mantle of Black Panther, and any theories you may have down in the comments. So very quickly, in other MCU news, we've been wondering about Armor Wars for quite a while, and we have some news that Don Cheadle's Armor Wars is doing somewhat the opposite to what Hawkeye did with regards to how that was initially going to be a feature film and then it turned into a Disney Plus series. Well, Armor Wars is going from a Disney Plus series into a feature film. Now, the Hollywood Reporter go on to say that Marvel Studios has shaken up its Armor Wars project, and now what was to have been a series for Disney Plus will be redeveloped as a feature film. The move essentially pushes back the title further down the development slate. Sources say the studio was committed in getting the story told the right way, and in that process realized that a feature was better suited for the project. Like all Marvel movies, it is intended for a theatrical release. This one is interesting to me because I wonder what it is that they couldn't do in a Disney Plus series that they feel like they can now do in a theatrical release. And I wonder that because they argue that these Disney Plus series still technically have the budget of a theatrical release, but it's just spread throughout 6 episodes or maybe 8 episodes. So technically, if it does have a similar budget to a feature film, you could still arguably execute a story in more episodes, and sometimes people prefer that because you do get more screen time often in a Disney Plus series compared to that of a feature film. Yet they're arguing that a feature film will be able to get the story done right or done justice compared to that of Armor Wars as a Disney Plus series. But yeah, I mean, I don't really have any quarrels with this. MCU like feature films are normally like hit a bit harder than that of your typical Disney Plus series. Even though a lot of people have enjoyed the Marvel Disney Plus shows, there have been complaints here and there. Sometimes the pacing gets a bit off where the story might drag. So some people may say perhaps they just kind of want a feature film, one and done, 2-hour-ish movie, give or take, to kind of condense it and make it a nice action-packed story for Armor Wars. But then again, you know, you've got Daredevil Born Again coming with 18 episodes. So yeah, I'm guessing that they just kind of wanted to pack it in, make it a decently paced theatrical experience, and just slam down a story that way. And maybe when they were trying to write it for, let's just say 6 give or take episodes, they were running into a few walls with, okay, we're getting the story from start to finish, but the in-between may have some flaws that a movie might just not have with the shorter runtime compared to that of a movie and a Disney Plus show. But let me know your thoughts on this. What do you prefer? A Disney Plus series? I'm willing to bet that a lot of you are happy that it's now a feature film. Okay, so up next in the DC side of things, let's talk about Barry Keoghan. As you guys know, he played Joker in the Batman, even though he technically hasn't got the name or the moniker of Joker in that universe yet. He's just unnamed serial killer who Batman technically goes to see in a deleted scene, so not so much canon there in the movie, but does canonically appear in that final scene with the Riddler, talking about how Gotham loves a comeback story. So Barry Keoghan did an interview for GQ magazine, and where he spoke about many things, but he also touched on the Batman, and one of the most interesting things is that he spoke about his pursuit to be in the Batman movie and how he initially tried to play the role of the Riddler. So they go on to say that thankfully Keoghan had a second shot at a superhero franchise. In the summer of 2020, he joined the cast of Matt Reeves' dark and neo-noir take on the Batman. I wanted to be Riddler, Keoghan says. A clip of Keoghan's audition for the Batman has existed publicly on the internet for 3 years, but barely anyone has seen it. In the clip, an elevator opens to Saint-Saëns Danse Macabre, and out steps Keoghan dressed in a black shirt and shoes. Trousers held up by green suspenders. His Riddler wears a bowler hat, carries a cane, and wears dark Alex Delage eyeliner. He slowly struts down the corridor, eyeballing doors like prey lies behind each one, before turning a corner and re-emerging, grinning, a bloody handprint struck across his cheek when the clip cuts to black. Ever since this interview came out, that little audition clip or tape, if you will, for what he tried to, send in to get that role of the Riddler has been going everywhere on Twitter amongst the Batman fandom. Maybe you're seeing a little bit of it on screen right now. It just kind of gives you his demeanor, his kind of idea of the character to try and, hey, Dylan Clark, Matt Reeves, do you want me? Are you interested in me as the Riddler in the movie? GQ carries on to say that Keoghan's unsolicited audition, created simply because he heard the film was happening and he wanted to be a part of it, initially proved fruitless. When he met the film's producer, Dylan Clark, the role of Riddler had been filled at that point by Jonah Hill and later by Paul Dano. He asked Clark to watch it anyway. For 4 months, he heard nothing. Then a call came in from his agent while he was having dinner with a friend in New York. They'd seen the tape. His agent said, "The Batman wants you to play the Joker, but you cannot tell anyone." Now, the article goes on to say that Keoghan's Joker is a man made from his own experiences, both a bit charming and a bit hurt. Beneath heavy prosthetics that make him look like a maniac run through a meat grinder, Keoghan insisted his blue eyes stayed the same. "I wanted some sort of human in there behind the makeup," he says. "I want people to relate to him, to know this is a facade he puts on." The character is, to Keoghan, a broken down boy, which is something I've always kind of explained in my videos about the Batman or the ongoing discussion series for the trilogy in general that we have on the channel. Do go check them out if you're a Batman fan. It's a bit of in-between content where we theorize, speculate on things. But I've always said that despite, funnily enough, Barry Keoghan being older than Heath Ledger was at the time of playing the Joker, his overall look is that of a more youngster Joker. Not necessarily an actual boy, but for example, if you've watched Gotham, you have Cameron Monaghan's Joker. Now, he's not a grown-ass, I mean, he was a grown-ass man, but what I'm trying to say is there's more of a kid in there, which is, funnily enough, quite suited to this maniacal take on the Joker, of which we're normally used to a Joker in his mid to late 30s in terms of comic book perception and even sometimes film. And even Heath Ledger, who was 27, he looked like that of your typical mid-30s Joker, even though he was actually much younger. And my point being, Barry Keoghan, who is older than Heath Ledger, portrays a much younger Joker, and as Barry Keoghan puts here, as I've always seen it, a broken down boy. Which also just makes it fascinating for me in terms of how Batman, Robert Pattinson's take on the character, must view this Joker. I'm not saying he's like, oh, just a little kind of messed up kid. He's a psycho, but I feel bad for him. It's not like that, but I do think that this new take on Batman and Joker, that we could see them cross paths again, because we've got 2 more movies. This could be in like 7 years' time before we see Joker pop up again in the 3rd movie, although we could see him pop up in another project, which I'm about to get into. There is something new there, which is somewhat unexplored before, in how Batman, Bruce Wayne, could be going up against because Barry Keoghan's got the role, up against a Joker who's a bit more of a broken down boy rather than that of a mid-30s-esque demeanor to him. And I wonder what Batman actually thinks when he looks at him. He's clearly messed up, clearly psychopathic, a maniac. Batman knows this, but there's something there that he can probably see in a bit of a more youthful Joker here. Keoghan only appears in the Batman's final moments, guarded by corrugated bars of a jail cell, but a deleted scene featuring Keoghan's released online has been viewed more than 10 million times. Recently, Keoghan texted Reeves a listicle that rated the best Jokers put to screen. There were 7 and I was number 4, he says, grinning. Lads, with 4 minutes of screen time? Not bad, eh? Keoghan has not yet been invited back for a sequel, but the character kept under wraps and revealed only when audiences finally saw it in theaters. I don't know about that. If you watched my videos before this, we were kind of talking about it, and many other people, but they continue to say, feels like the setup of something bigger. As soon as that call comes, he insists, I'm there, man. I'm there. Now, I'm sure many people are wondering what that next call could be. Now, obviously, we have at least 2 more movies coming in Matt Reeves' The Batverse, I guess you could say, and I call it Batverse because we have spin-off projects such as The Penguin, but also what was originally a Gotham PD series, Gotham Central, if you will. But as we know, HBO Max somewhat kind of passed, or as Matt Reeves says, it's kind of been put on the shelf for now, but also it somewhat evolved into an Arkham series. And Matt Reeves has described this series on HBO Max to be this haunted house that is Arkham. There's not really too much more details than that. If you want my own take on this and my own vision for this series as something of an anthology-esque series, episode to episode, that converges at a certain point with plot lines connecting, I do have a separate video that I'll leave in the cards above. But also, the latest update we have with regards to this Arkham series came when we had that new deal between Matt Reeves and Warner Brothers Discovery, as him being set up as this cornerstone, having this first look deal, and how they'll basically give him anything he wants to do in the future. And that is that the HBO Max Arkham series is still in discussion. It's not being like properly developed right now. It's not in pre-production. It's still in discussion. But the reason why I'm talking about this Arkham series is because that could be the next call that Barry Keoghan gets to appear as the Joker. Why? Well, Barry Keoghan's Joker is in Arkham. Obviously, we don't have a timeline or a year this Arkham series would be set in. It could be in the past. It could be in the past and connect in the present. Or even if it's connected in the present, we might not even see the Joker in the series. But you have to think, and with other comments that I've covered before, that as Matt Reeves said, that there may be some other stories that connect back to Joker, and I'm abbreviating there, but that sentence was said in the same space and discussion of him talking about this Arkham series that he wants to do for HBO Max. So if you connect the dots there, we could be seeing Barry Keoghan's next call to him, and as he says, I'm there, man, I'll be there for that eventual HBO Max Arkham series. But the thing is, this could be quite a few years away, just how the Penguin series somewhat bridges the first movie to the second movie, with Colin Farrell likely becoming the kingpin of the criminal underworld in the seat and the vacuum of power that Carmine Falcone left behind. Well, you could argue that they might save the Arkham series for something that bridges the second film to the third film, if you know what I mean. But obviously, I'm going to keep you updated on anything like that. I just thought that this was interesting to talk about, going over how he wanted to be Riddler. Then out of nowhere, 4 months go by after hearing nothing, he got the Joker role, and obviously he teases a little bit of the future here, and I wanted to collect what we know about that future. But let me know your thoughts on this, any theories you have, how you would like to see Barry Keoghan's Joker again. The last story for today, guys, that I've got here is an interesting one that I'm going to kind of breeze over. There could be something to it, but there might not be. And that is to do with the Flash movie. As I said at the beginning of this news roundup, it looks like the Flash could currently be bringing back the DC Trinity, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman to appear in the Flash movie amongst the current ongoing shooting of additional scenes. Now, you may be like, they're shooting additional scenes. Well, apparently, I'm saying apparently that is the case, because this all started with that Vanity Fair article that we spoke about in a recent news roundup video that gets into a lot of the Ezra Miller drama. But in that Vanity Fair article, there was a paragraph that goes as follows. The notion that the Flash was at risk was a wake-up call, says the actor's rep. Miller and their CAA agent even made a trip to the studio's Burbank, California headquarters to apologize for the negative PR in person and express renewed commitment. The actor is now said to be working with producers on The Flash to shoot additional scenes. So Vanity Fair and Major Trade is reporting that The Flash is right now, apparently, or roundabout now, shooting additional scenes. Now, what do we have to work with today's story? Well, many fans and people are noticing out there that there's been recent sightings in LA of Gal Gadot, Ben Affleck, and Henry Cavill, all at the same time, of these additional scenes being shot for the Flash movie. Now, obviously, I do want to put in every side of the fence here. A lot of fans are just saying this is a coincidence, as a lot of these actors have places in LA other than Henry Cavill, I think. I mean, maybe Henry Cavill does have a place, but what I mainly want to convey here is that he is based in the UK. Of course, he's an actor, so I'm sure he goes over to LA, but it is quite rare for him to be seen in LA with his girlfriend, because there's been a lot of paparazzi shots, which is causing all of this speculation of, oh, is Gal Gadot, Ben Affleck, and Henry Cavill being in LA at the same time linked to the additional scenes of the Flash movie? Or, you know, other people just saying actors in LA, you know, surprise, surprise. It is interesting because Henry Cavill, he normally sports a bit of a scruffy stubble as his beard, and he's now cleanly shaven. His hair apparently seems to be dyed a little bit darker, Clark Kent color, but also a haircut that is very similar to it. Just look at him in these photos and he kind of does look like he's in town to shoot a Superman or Clark Kent scene. Now, various Flash film update Twitter pages are talking about this. They're compiling the various shots of Ben Affleck taking photos with fans, a shot of Gal Gadot on the streets, also Henry Cavill going out for a date night with his girlfriend. So I don't know. I just wanted to give this story to you guys. I do want to heavily stress that this might not mean anything, but the fact that Vanity Fair have reported that additional scenes are being shot for The Flash, and how apparently Henry Cavill is appearing in Black Adam, it's not too much of a stretch from the imagination if you combine also that Ben Affleck has shot scenes for The Flash, for Aquaman 2, that, hey, something has happened behind the scenes recently that has not only caused additional scenes to be shot for The Flash, but has also encouraged the actors to come back to their Trinity roles. And obviously, it wouldn't be a massive shoot, but something more of a little cool cameo-esque scene for the DC Trinity. So who knows? This could be setting up that next phase of the DCEU that was once looking like it was going in the direction of Michael Keaton, but it looks like he's being just confined to the Flash movie now, and lots of people are speculating that Ben Affleck could still be the Batman of the future even after this soft rebooted Flashpoint issue is over in the movie's plot, and maybe they've tagged along Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman and Superman, as well as Ben Affleck, for some kind of additional closing scene, or maybe they want to inject it earlier on in the movie. Who knows? But that just about wraps up today's video. So let me know your thoughts on that latest story, and let me know your thoughts on the Black Panther official trailer, the Armor Wars stuff, and of course Barry Keoghan Joker stuff. I read every single comment, and I love making these news roundup videos. So in turn, I love seeing what you guys have to say about each story that we cover in every news roundup installment. Another thing you can do to just help me out here is share this video on, I don't know, various social media, but most importantly, even at the very least, just leave a like on it. It helps me out a bunch. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.